Hi, I'm Chloe. I am an achievement tutor with the Manchester College, and as part of our summer showcase, I'm here with ex-Virgin cabin crew, Robin, who's going to do a lovely Q&A for us and fill in some industry insights. So I'll hand over to you, Robin. Are you okay?
I'm very well. I'm all good, thank you.
Yeah.
Brilliant, Robin. Well, welcome. I'm Catherine Farinya. I'm the founder of the Chefs Forum. This summer, we've been asked to give a bit of enrichment to the catering, hospitality, travel, tourism and aviation departments within the Manchester College. So what this involves is we get industry experts and speakers come in normally to the college and teach you within your usual environment. So Robin's actually been at the college. Within the cabin, so they've got a simulated cabin, haven't they, at the college?
Yeah. I mean, it's quite a useful training tool. It's very much it's what you'd find on any airliner, really. You've got your seats and you've got your portable equipment and your jump seats for the crew. So there's quite a lot that I can teach in that setup. Some of the portable equipment could do with a little bit of updating, but we can work with that. That's all good. So yeah, it's a useful tool, really useful tool.
Brilliant. So how long were you a flight attendant at Virgin Atlantic?
I was with Virgin for just about 12 years. Came out just about 18 months ago due to the pandemic. I sort of done my bit. As I say, worked for them for 12 years, and with the commute now from Devon, it was becoming a little bit more exhausting, and I'm not a spring chicken anymore. So it was right for me. It was the right time for me to leave. However, I have to say I do miss it. I didn't start off with, but now I see New York on the television. I just wish I was back there, or Cuba. Cuba's been on the television a lot lately, and that was my favourite trip. So there is a little bit of sadness creeping into it now. But I do.
Can we do kind of sporadic, can we go back and do any kind of, bank type, agency style stuff?
No, that doesn't really work with aviation. Every airline has its own specific SEP manual, safety and emergency procedures manual, and you have to be completely up to date within 24 hours of that manual. And Virgin will have trained differently to BA, they'll train differently to EasyJet. Everybody has their own different ways of training, so you can't really mix and match. There isn't, unfortunately, there's not a cabin crew agency that you could join. If there was, I would join it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, no, I was just thinking, because we work across the hospitality industry, and you can actually go in and sort of freelance, but I see, for all the right reasons, that safety is paramount. You've got other people's lives in your hand, and it's really important that you're completely up to date with all the latest health and safety practice.
Yeah. I think possibly when people start looking at becoming cabin crew, they don't realise just how important the safety and emergency procedures are. That's the reason you're on board, primarily. And you with Virgin, for instance, you have an iPad, and your manual is on there, and it is updated every day. And every day you have to read that update and confirm that you've read it before you are ready to fly. That's how important it is that safety procedures are followed to the letter.
Yeah, there's quite rigorous control, isn't it, really?
Oh, absolutely. You have the CAA, Civil Aviation Authority, in this country. They control what goes on from a British sense of things. But then you have the American Aviation Authority. They're controlling what goes on there. So if they decide to change anything, that will have to be changed in our manuals, and we have to comply with that. They all talk to each other so that you don't get conflicts. But if there is something major that comes along, they work it out between them, and they change everybody's manual so that you're up to date with it.
Wonderful. So you said you love going to Cuba, you love going to New York. What would you say is the main reason why you absolutely loved working on planes?
I guess for me, I've always been quite service orientated. You know, I've done lots of things in my life. I've worked in hospitals. I worked in hospitality. I even trained as an actor at one point. But it's all been basically dealing with people. Even acting, you're dealing with an audience. You're entertaining an audience. So with my skill set, cabin crew was really quite an easy way forward. I could use lots of experience that I've had in the past, and sort of turn it into being a good member of cabin crew. You know, there, as I say, there is just so much more to it than people think. People think you get on board, you're just there for gin and tonics and serve chicken and beef. But you know, if you've got a nervous passenger, you've got to calm them down. You've got to sit with them. You got to talk them through it. You've got to be nice to them. You know, and so with my nursing background and also my performance background, those two combined, it sort of really did work out very well for me.
So, you know, if you had a nervous passenger, have you ever had an emergency on board, and how did we cope with that?
I've not. So if you have a nervous, when it comes to emergencies, you have your set plan of what you're doing. Nervous passengers, 99.9% of the time, if there is an emergency alert, they'll just sit there petrified, and you really don't have to worry about them. They are just petrified, so they sit there. You obviously, you've got so much going on in your head that you keep thinking about it and thinking about, you know, what that person's going to need when you finally get the thing on the ground. But you just go into your procedures, get everything ready for landing, as secure and as safe as possible. Sit back and cross your fingers.
So in terms of, you know, reassuring somebody, say that you have really bad turbulence and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're not allowed to leave your seat, which is sometimes a problem, you know. You have also got to sit down, haven't you, in your seat?
Absolutely. If you get really bad turbulence, you've got to strap in just like everybody else has. Hopefully you're going to have eye line to the people that you know are, you're going to have your area of the plane, your few rows of seats that you're sort of responsible for, and you're going to have an eye line with them, and you're just going to talk them down all the time. And just all nerves is it's a breathing thing. If you control your breathing, you'll control your nerves. And that's what I would always say to everybody that was a nervous flyer. Just control what's going on with your chest. Control what's going on with your breathing, and just breathe slowly, hold it in, let it out. In for 3, hold, out for 3. And just generally, I've lost the word. Just slowly, just bring your breathing back under control. Once you have control of your breathing, you have control of your fear, and you know, you'll be fine. Turbulence is horrible. I mean, I'm sure we've all experienced it from one time or another. And turbulence, if you're not used to it, can be very scary. For somebody that was flying for 12 years, there was some turbulence. It was not nice. So I had to adopt that. Breathe and just calm it down, because you know, it is scary, but it is part of flying. There is nothing we can do about it. The pilots will do they sort of know where the turbulent areas are going to be, so they try and avoid them, fly underneath, fly above, go around. They will do all they can, but sometimes you just get clear air turbulence, you don't know it's going to be there, and kabang. And it is frightening when that happens, but again, with all the training you have with all airlines, you're trained to deal with it, and you're trained to keep your passengers calm.
Well, yes, that's the main thing, isn't it? Staying calm under pressure. So who is the most famous person you've ever had on board? Because you were in Virgin Upper Class, weren't you? And that's first class, you know it, but we call it Virgin Upper Class. Who would be the most famous person you've ever met?
So I had Kylie on. We brought Kylie back from Los Angeles. absolutely adorable. She really was lovely. Wanted nothing on the flight. Very tiny. She's even shorter than me, and I'm short. Very little. As soon as the plane had taken off and the seatbelt signs were off, she asked me to make up her bed, which I did. She went off to the bathroom, came back, got into bed, slept for the flight, woke up in the morning, put a bit of a face on, and walked off the plane. But actually didn't eat, didn't want anything. I think she had a cup of coffee in the morning, and that was it.
That's why she's tiny.
That's why she's tiny, absolutely. She was an absolute delight, and very, you know, at the end of the flight, thank you so much, Robin. Thank you for looking after me and use my name. And I was quite made up about that. Had Annie Lennox on. She was rather lovely. We took her and her new partner over to South Africa, and I'd sung with Annie Lennox in the Millennium Dome for the New Year's for 2000, for the 2000 celebration, and we talked a little bit about that, which was quite lovely. Who else? I've had a lot of 80s pop stars on. There was some sort of thing going on. I think it was Vegas, and they were all out there. All the British old 80s pop stars were all out there, and we brought them all back on one of the old 747s, as it was in those days. And the whole of the upper class cabin was just full of, you know, Boy George, Mark Almond.
Brilliant.
It was, and again, they were all a bit messy, but they were lovely. They were really good fun. Really, really nice people. So you tend to find that, you know, the majority of people on flights are just really lovely, no matter what their background, no matter where they come from. Obviously, you do get the ones that you have to deal with, but again, you're trained how to do that, so it's good. It's really good.
Brilliant. Okay, so where is the best place you've ever traveled to?
Well, as I've said before, my very favorite place was Cuba. There's just something so magical about Havana. It's falling to bits. It's, you know, there's bits falling off buildings constantly. They have absolutely no money, but whatever they have, the Cuban people will share it with you. So friendly, so lovely, and the city is the architecture. You could just get lost in the architecture. It's incredible, and the nightlife, of course, is great. You know, loads of dancing. From about 6 o'clock in the evening, just about every front door is open, and there's salsa music blaring out until about 2 in the morning. It's just a fantastic place. Completely different way of life to ours. Materialism doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. Wi-Fi, for the most part, doesn't exist. So if you go to Cuba, you have to accept you're going to be cut off from the world for a few months.
Well, it's tropical, isn't it? And every time they have a storm, it burns the router.
Well, that's it. Yeah, it's just, yeah.
And then you don't get it back again until you get the man to come out and fix it.
And it'll probably take 2 weeks for the man to come out.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But it's all part and parcel.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's so good to see these other cultures, to see what else goes on in the world. You know, we're so used to the British culture, and personally, politically, I'm a little bit over British culture. So it's been great for me to go to other countries and see how they survive and how they make good of everything and how they enjoy their lives. And I have to say that, you know, the majority of places I've been to, people do enjoy their lives. Kenya, again, I love Africa, wonderful continent. You hear such horror stories about Africa, but actually, I mean, Kenya, feeding giraffes and adopting baby elephants and wonderful memories. I'm so grateful for.
Oh, that's lovely. So, I mean, and you obviously are very, very passionate about, you know, travel, about the industry. You love working with people. You know, if you're going to give some advice to somebody embarking upon a aviation travel tourism course at the Manchester College, or maybe if you're in your, you know, going on to your next year of course, you're already at the college, you know, what would be the advice you give to yourself now, you know, when you first started out as cabin crew?
I think the advice I'd give is take in as much information as you possibly can while you're at college. Look at the airlines that you're going to apply to. You know, Virgin, BA, Virgin in particular is all long haul. BA has long haul and short haul. Understand the industry, understand what a scheduled flight is, understand what short haul is, what long haul is, what a full service flight is. Understand all that before you start writing your application form. When you do your application form, when you send in your CV has got to pop. And especially at the moment after the pandemic, a lot of, you know, there's an awful lot of airline crew still on furlough. There's an awful lot of crew that were made redundant that potentially be invited back to join the company when it all picks up again. So, you know, getting in is going to be a little bit tough for a few years, but make sure you have absolutely all the information you need. If you're going to join BA, find out the history about BA. If you're joining Virgin Atlantic, find out the history of EasyJet. Whatever airline you're going to work for, make sure you know that airline inside out, upside down, and backwards, so that when you go in, when your CV has gone through the initial weeding out of people, and you've got that interview, you can go in and you can talk with a degree of confidence. You know, when you're asked your questions, you can give a reasonably confident answer. They don't want you to know everything, because you're not going to learn when you go on their initial training course, and you have to be prepared for that course. But just make sure everything on your CV pops, and it's the sort of thing they want to see, they want to listen to. And when you walk into your interview, be animated. Be confident. They're looking for confidence. They're looking for somebody that is going to be able to very confidently look after their passengers.
Brilliant. And entertain them and keep them happy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you know, they've all got Wi-Fi and everything, but people do want to walk around the aircraft. They do want to come and stand and talk to you in the galley for half an hour, 3/4 of an hour. I had David Hay, the boxer, lovely chap. We took him to Barbados, and again I was on the 747 when we had the double-decker 747s, and I was in the galley. He spent most of the flight in the galley just chatting to me, and he was absolutely lovely and so humble. And you know, again, for me to be in that situation where I was just able to talk to him, and he was able to talk to me, and he didn't feel pressured by all the other passengers on the flight. Just wonderful.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, Robin, we want to welcome you back into the college when the restrictions on, well, we are getting, you know, experts back into the college at the moment, but obviously it's summer holidays at the minute.
Yeah.
And we hope to bring you back in to do some more work with the cabin in the college, you know, now that prospective students or those that are already there get a chance to meet you on the replays of this session, you know, they'll know the caliber and the passion and the enthusiasm of the experts that we work with in order to enrich the curriculum at the Manchester College. You know, you could probably help advise on how they go about getting work experience, you know, who to contact, you know, when they're trying to secure those first few interviews. You can help with all of that kind of stuff, can't you?
Absolutely, we can talk through all of that. We can look at your CV. We can make it pop. I think there is, so, you know, if I do get to meet some of you students in the future, I think there's an awful lot we can work through to make you stand out a little bit. You know, you're going to have to, if you're going to work in this industry, especially after this horrific pandemic, you've got to stand out. You really have to. So, and I think I can help you achieve some of that. I hope so.
Brilliant. No, Robin, thank you so much again for all the help and support you've given us through, you know, going up and teaching at the college. Also, you know, giving virtual sessions over our summer enrichment sessions. We really appreciate it. You know, you are our man on the ground as far as you know, aviation's concerned. It's great that, you know, we were just so fortunate to be introduced to you by Bridget, and you know, we've had a great lot of sessions, and this kind of concludes all of the kind of live masterclass. There will be some replays that Chloe will do, but you know, I just want to say a massive thank you on behalf of the college and my team, and you know, we'd love to see you again soon.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks
I look
so
forward
much,
to it.
Robin.
Pleasure, Chloe. You take care.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks so much. See you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.